The massive crystal dome of the Galactic Council chamber stretched high above thousands of alien beings from across the galaxy. Every seat was filled with creatures of different shapes, sizes, and colors. The air buzzed with translation devices converting hundreds of languages into understandable words. The smell of different atmospheres mixed together, creating a strange scent that made many beings. Uncomfortable Ambassador Deho walked slowly to the center podium. His black suit was perfectly pressed, and his tie was straight. He looked calm, even though every eye in the chamber was watching him. The tall Korean man had practiced this speech for months, but now that the moment had come, his heart beat faster than usual. Behind him stood Captain So-young of the Human Defense Fleet. She wore her dark blue uniform with pride. Her hand rested on her weapon, but she knew she would not need it today. The small woman had short black hair and serious eyes that missed nothing. She had seen too many battles to be afraid of alien politicians. The Zephyrian Chancellor called for order. His 4 blue arms waved in the air as he tried to quiet the crowd. His species had ruled the council for over 300 years. They believed they were the smartest beings in the galaxy. Most other aliens agreed with them until today. Daiho reached the podium and placed his hands on the smooth surface. The microphone picked up his voice and sent it to every corner of the massive chamber. He looked up at the thousands of alien faces staring down at him. Some looked curious, others looked angry, a few looked afraid. Honored members of the Galactic Council, he began, I come before you today to deliver a message from the people of Earth and all human colonies. Throughout the galaxy, the chamber grew quiet. Every alien wanted to hear what the humans had to say. Humans had been members of the council for 50 years, but they were always treated like children. Their opinions were ignored, their requests were denied, their contributions were forgotten. For 5 decades we have served this council faithfully, Deho continued. We have followed your laws. We have paid your taxes. We have fought your wars. We have built your cities. We have healed your sick. We have fed your hungry. Some aliens shifted uncomfortably in their seats. They remembered asking humans to do dangerous jobs that other species refused to do. Humans always said yes. Humans always found a way to get the job done. We have asked for fair treatment. Deho said, we have requested equal representation. We have demanded respect for our sovereignty. These requests have been denied again and again. The draconian ambassador stood up. His reptilian face showed anger. Humans must learn their place in the galaxy, he hissed. You are a young species. You have much to learn from your betters. Deho smiled, but his eyes remained cold. That is exactly the attitude that has brought us to this moment, he said. You see us as children, to be controlled rather than equals to be respected. The crystalline collective representative spoke next. Her voice sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Humans have been given opportunities to prove themselves. Many species waited centuries for such chances, opportunities, Deho repeated. You mean the chance to die in wars we did not start, the chance to colonize planets too dangerous for other species, the chance to work for free while others profit from our labor. Captain So-young stepped forward. She activated her communication device and images appeared on the giant screens around the chamber. The images showed human colonies on deadly worlds where the air was poison and the ground was made of sharp crystals. This is Kepler 442b. She said, you gave us this world to colonize. You told us it was a great honor. 50,000 humans died in the first year from the toxic atmosphere. But we stayed, we built cities, we made it livable. Now you want to take it away because we found valuable minerals. More images appeared, human ships flying through asteroid fields to deliver supplies to alien worlds. Human doctors working day and night to cure diseases that had killed millions of aliens. Human engineers building bridges and roads and power plants on 100 different worlds. We did not ask for payment. So-young continued. We did not demand special treatment. We simply wanted to be treated as equals, as partners, as friends. The Tentacled Merchants Guild representative spoke up. Humans have been well compensated for their services. They have received technology and knowledge worth billions of credits. Deho laughed, but there was no humor in the sound. Compensated, he said. You gave us your old technology, your broken machines, your outdated weapons, and you charged us for the privilege of receiving your garbage. The chamber erupted in angry voices. Aliens shouted at each other, and at the human security guards moved closer to the podium, but Deho raised his hand for silence. "Enough," he said. "We did not come here to argue about the past, we came here to inform you of our decision." The Chancellor leaned forward. "What decision?" Deho took a deep breath. This was the moment that would change everything. "Effective immediately, humanity withdraws from the Galactic Council. We cancel all treaties. We end all trade agreements. We recall all human personnel from alien worlds." The silence that followed was deafening. No one moved, no one spoke, no one even breathed. Furthermore, Deho continued, "We will no longer provide any services to alien civilizations, no shipping, no engineering, no medical assistance, no military support, no diplomatic relations." The Zephyrian Chancellor stood up so fast his chair fell over. "This is impossible," he shouted. "Humans cannot survive alone in the galaxy. You need us." "Do we?" Deho asked. "For 50 years you have told us we are primitive and weak. For 50 years you have treated us like servants. For 50 years you have taken our best efforts and given us nothing in return." Captain So-Young activated her communication device again. "All human ships have received their orders," she announced. "Withdrawal begins in 1 hour. Every human colony, every human ship, every human citizen is coming home." The viewing screens showed the scope of the withdrawal. Human ships at 1,000 different ports began departing. Human workers left their jobs. Human families packed their belongings. Human soldiers abandoned their posts. "You cannot do this," the Draconian ambassador roared. "We have contracts, legal obligations." "Read your contracts carefully," Deho replied. "Every single one contains a clause allowing either party to withdraw with proper notice. We are giving you that notice now." The crystalline collective representative stood up. "This will cause economic chaos throughout the galaxy. Millions will suffer." "Then perhaps you should have thought of that before treating us like slaves," So-Young said. The chamber erupted in panic. Aliens shouted demands and threats. They promised rewards and punishments. They begged and pleaded, and Commander Deho watched it all with calm satisfaction. This was exactly what he had expected. These proud alien civilizations had never imagined that humans would simply walk away. "You have 1 hour to evacuate all human personnel from your worlds," he announced. "After that you are on your own." The Chancellor pointed at him with all 4 arms. "This is madness. You will destroy everything we have built together." "We built it," Deho corrected. "You just took credit for it. Now you can try to maintain it without us." He turned and walked toward the exit. Captain So-Young followed him. The other human representatives joined them. As they reached the door, Deho turned back one last time. "Good luck," he said. "You are going to need it." The great doors closed behind them, leaving the Galactic Council in chaos and panic. The age of human servitude was over. The age of human independence had begun. 3 weeks passed since the humans left the Galactic Council. The effects spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Trade routes that had worked for hundreds of years suddenly stopped working. Ships full of food and medicine sat at ports with no one to deliver them. Governor Minwoo sat in his office on the water world of Aquario, looking at dozens of emergency messages on his desk. The young Korean man had been in charge of shipping contracts for the Outer Rim colonies for 5 years. He knew exactly how important human ships were to keeping the galaxy running. His assistant ran into the room carrying more urgent messages. Her blue skin was pale with worry. "Sir, the tentacled merchants are offering us 10 times our normal payment to start deliveries again. The crystalline worlds are running out of food. Their people are starting to panic." Minwoo looked at the messages and deleted them all without reading. "Send them our standard reply. Humans are no longer available for hire at any price." On the other side of the galaxy, engineer Jinae worked alone in her secret laboratory. The brilliant woman had spent 3 years developing a new type of faster-than-light drive. Her technology could cross the entire galaxy in just 5 days instead of 5 months. Every alien government had tried to steal her research. Adjusted her thick glasses and looked at the latest spy attempt. Someone had tried to break into her computer system again. "They called our technology primitive," she said to herself. "Now they are desperate to steal it." Her new drive used principles that alien scientists could not understand. Human brains worked differently than alien minds. Humans could see solutions that aliens missed. Jin A had discovered how to fold space in ways that alien physics said was impossible. The economic crisis got worse every day. Stock markets on 1,000 worlds crashed as investors realized how much they depended on human services. The Galactic banking consortium lost trillions of credits in just 1 week. On the trading world of commerce, prime aliens stood in long lines outside closed human businesses. The Ferengi-like traders had always made fun of human business practices, they said. Humans were too honest to be good at making money. Now their own dishonest methods were destroying their economy. The Draconian Empire tried to hire other species to replace human services, but no one could do the job. The reptilian aliens were used to solving problems with force. They did not understand that some jobs required patience and skill rather than strength and anger. Admiral Taemin watched reports from across the galaxy from his command ship. The experienced military officer had predicted this would happen. He had studied alien weaknesses for 20 years as part of human strategic planning. Sir, we are receiving surrender requests from 12 different star systems. His communications officer reported they cannot maintain their defense systems without human engineers. Taemin smiled. Tell them humans do not surrender to anyone. We also do not help people who treated us badly. The Zephyrian Empire faced the worst crisis in their history. Their energy weapons needed human-designed power cores to function. Without humans to maintain the systems, their mighty fleet became floating scrap metal. Their soldiers could not fight wars with weapons that did not work. Chancellor Blueskin tried to contact human leaders every day, but no one answered his calls. The proud four-armed alien had ruled the council for 30 years. He had never imagined that humans would actually leave. Send them gifts, he ordered his staff. Offer them new colonies, better trade deals. Full voting rights in the council. His aide looked worried. Sir, they are not responding to any communications. It is like they have disappeared completely. The Crystalline Collective faced total system failure. Their quantum computers controlled everything in their civilization, from power plants to traffic lights to life support systems. The crystalline beings had always been proud of their advanced technology. Dr. Hyjin had designed most of their critical systems during the early years of cooperation. The quantum physicist understood crystalline technology better than the crystals themselves. Now their beautiful crystal cities were going dark as one system after another failed. Please help us, their desperate messages read. We will give you anything you want, our technology, our knowledge, our worlds themselves. Hyjin deleted the messages and went back to her research. She was working on new quantum computers that would make crystalline technology look like Stone Age. Tools. The water-breathing Aquarians could not transport their products without human cargo ships. Their entire economy was based on selling their crystal-clear water to dry worlds across the galaxy. Now millions of aliens on desert planets faced death from thirst. The insect-like hive mind species tried to copy human shipping methods, but their rigid thinking could not adapt to the complex problems of space travel. Human captains made thousands of small decisions during each trip. The insects could only follow pre-programmed instructions on Earth. President Kyung Ho watched the chaos through quantum telescopes. The elderly leader had planned this withdrawal for 10 years. He knew that aliens would panic when they realized how much they needed humans. They thought we were just another species to exploit, he told his cabinet. They forgot that humans are survivors. We adapt. We overcome. We find ways to win even when everyone says it is impossible. The evidence was clear. Humans had prevented dozens of wars. Through patient diplomacy, human doctors had cured diseases that killed millions of aliens. Human engineers had built the infrastructure that connected thousands of worlds. Human farmers had ended famines on hundreds of planets. The Galactic News Network tried to blame humans for the crisis, but their own reporters could not ignore the facts. Every major breakthrough in the last 50 years had human fingerprints on it. Every successful peace treaty had human negotiators. Every working system had human engineers. How did we miss this? Asked the lead anchor, a purple-skinned female with 6 eyes. Humans are only 3% of the galactic population, but they seem to be responsible for everything that actually works. The truth was becoming clear to everyone. Humans were not just helpful members of the galactic community, they were the foundation that held everything together. Without them, the galaxy was falling apart. Food shortages spread across 100 World's transportation systems broke down, communication networks failed, medical supplies ran out. Energy grids collapsed, water treatment plants stopped working. The aliens had taken human competence for granted. They assumed that other species could do the same jobs, but other species lacked the human combination of intelligence, creativity, determination, and willingness to work hard. As the fourth week began, some alien governments started to collapse. The proud civilizations that had looked down on humans now faced extinction without human help. The galaxy learned a hard lesson about the price of arrogance and the value of respect. 2 months after the human withdrawal, the galaxy teetered on the edge of complete collapse. The proud alien civilizations that had ruled space for thousands of years now faced problems they could not solve. Their technology failed, their economies crashed, their people suffered. The Draconian Empire, once the most feared military force in the galaxy, watched their rebellion spread to 20 worlds. Their plasma cannons overheated and exploded, their energy shields flickered and died. Their war machines broke down in the middle of battles. General Crix stood in his command center, staring at reports of defeat after defeat. The massive reptilian warrior had conquered 50 worlds in his career. Now he could not even control his own home planet. Without working weapons, send another message to the humans, he ordered his aide. Offer them full military alliance. Tell them they can have any 3-star systems they want. His aide looked nervous. Sir, we have sent 47 messages. The humans do not respond to any communications. Admiral Taemin received the draconian surrender offer while reviewing human fleet positions from his flagship. The seasoned Korean officer had spent years studying alien military tactics. He knew their weaknesses better than they did themselves. They want us to fix their broken toys, he said to his staff. The same toys they used to threaten us last year. His tactical officer smiled. Should we help them, sir? Help them? Taemin laughed. They pointed those weapons at human colonies and demanded we obey their orders. Now they want us to make the weapons work again. Tell them humans do not fix what we did not break. The crystalline collective watched their civilization crumble as their quantum systems failed one by one. Their crystal cities that had stood for 10,000 years now sat in darkness. The beings made of living crystal could not survive without their technological life support. Dr. Hyjin worked in her new laboratory on Mars developing quantum computers that operated on completely different principles. The Korean scientist had always been fascinated by the way crystalline minds processed information. Now she was creating something far superior. Fascinating, she said while reading their distress calls. Last year they said human quantum theory was primitive and wrong. Now they admit they cannot understand how their own systems work without human guidance. The messages from the crystalline collective became more desperate. Each day they offered her anything she wanted, their technology, their knowledge, their entire civilization as slaves. But Hyjin just deleted the messages and continued her research. The Tentacled Merchants Guild faced bankruptcy as their trade routes collapsed. Their ships could not navigate hyperspace without human pilots. Their cargo spoiled in transit without human logistics experts. Their customers refused to pay for late deliveries. Merchant Prince Slimy Tentacles had been the richest being in 3-star systems before the humans left. He owned fleets of cargo ships and chains of trading posts. Now he sat alone in his empty office, watching his empire crumble. Find me a human pilot, he begged his assistants. Any human, I will pay them 1,000,000 credits per trip, but there were no humans available. Every human ship had returned to human space. Every human pilot had gone home. Every human trader had canceled their contracts. The water world of Aquaria faced the worst crisis in their history. Their pure water was needed on hundreds of desert worlds, but they had no way to transport it. Human cargo ships had carried 90% of all galactic freight. Governor Minwoo received thousands of messages every day from dying worlds that needed water. Without the life-giving liquid, millions of aliens would die within weeks. But human ships stayed in human space. We could restart limited shipping, suggested his aide, just for humanitarian purposes. Minwoo shook his head. They did not care about humanitarian purposes when they forced us to colonize poison worlds. They can solve their own problems now. The hive mind species tried desperately to copy human shipping methods, but their collective thinking could not handle The individual decisions that space travel required human captains made split-second choices that saved ships and lives. The insects could only follow predetermined patterns. Queen Drone watched her cargo ships crash into asteroids and disappear. In hyperspace storms, her species had always prided themselves on their logical efficiency. Now that logic was useless without human intuition and creativity. The Zephyrian Chancellor held emergency meetings every day, but his council could not find solutions. Their energy weapons needed human power cores, their ships needed human navigation systems, their cities needed human engineering support. How did we become so dependent on one species? He asked his advisors. We are the oldest civilization in the galaxy. We ruled space before humans learned to make fire. His science advisor looked uncomfortable. Sir, our analysis shows that humans have been quietly solving our problems for 50 years. We took credit for their work and forgot that we needed their help. The truth was spreading across the galaxy through news reports and government investigations. Humans had prevented wars through secret diplomacy. Humans had cured diseases that alien doctors could not understand. Humans had built systems that aliens thought were alien technology on the mining world of Rockhead. The automated systems that extracted precious metals began shutting down. The alien computers could not adapt to changing conditions in the deep mines. Human engineers had constantly adjusted the programs to keep them working. The gaseous cloud beings who lived in nebulae found that their atmospheric processors were failing. Without the devices, they could not maintain the gas mixtures they needed to survive. Human atmospheric specialists had designed and maintained all their life support systems. Even the energy beings who existed as pure electricity discovered that their power grid networks needed constant human maintenance. The beings made of living energy could not understand why their systems kept breaking down. Dr. Young Mi studied the reports from her research station in the asteroid belt. The Korean xenobiologist had predicted this crisis years ago. She understood alien psychology better than the aliens understood themselves. They are learning that intelligence alone is not enough, she wrote in her research notes. Humans combine intelligence with determination, creativity, and the willingness to work hard. Other species have some of these traits, but only humans have all of them. The Galactic Emergency Council met for the first time in 300 years. Representatives from every major civilization gathered to discuss the human crisis, but they had no solutions to offer. We must force the humans to return, declared the draconian representative. Send fleets to Earth and make them obey. The others laughed at him. With what fleets? Our ships do not work without human engineers. Our weapons do not fire without human technicians. As the third month began, the first alien government started to collapse completely. The proud species that had ruled the galaxy for millennia now faced extinction. The humans had not conquered them through war. They had simply withdrawn their support and let gravity do the rest. Galaxy was learning a hard lesson about the difference between ruling through fear and leading through competence. Humans had quietly become indispensable through their skills and dedication. Now the aliens would have to earn human help instead of demanding it. 4 months after the Great Withdrawal, investigative journalist Soo Jin published the most shocking report in galactic history. The determined Korean reporter had spent years gathering evidence about human contributions to galactic civilization. Now the truth could no longer be hidden. Her research team had analyzed 50 years of classified government records from 12 different alien civilizations. The data revealed a pattern that stunned even the humans themselves. They had been far more important to galactic society than anyone realized. Citizens of the galaxy, Soo Jin announced during her special broadcast to every world, you have been deceived by your own governments. The species you were told were primitive and inferior have actually been saving your civilizations for half a century. The viewing screens showed statistical charts that made alien leaders panic. Humans made up less than 3% of the galactic population, but they had been responsible for 67% of all major technological breakthroughs in the last 50 years. Look at these numbers, Soo Jin said, pointing to the data. Every major medical breakthrough, human research, every successful peace treaty, human diplomats, every working infrastructure system, human engineers. The Zephyrian government tried to shut down the broadcast, but their communication systems had been built by humans. Without human technicians to maintain them, the systems failed. The truth spread across the galaxy faster than light and Earth President Kyung-ho watched the alien populations revolt against their own governments. The elderly Korean statesman had predicted this moment when he first proposed the withdrawal strategy 10 years ago. They thought, "We were servants," he told his cabinet. They forgot that servants see everything and know all their master's secrets. Now the servants are gone and the masters do not know how to survive. The evidence was overwhelming. Human doctors had developed cures for 17 different alien diseases that had killed billions. Human engineers had designed the hyperspace networks that connected thousands of worlds. Human farmers had ended famines on over 200 planets. The Crystalline Collective government fell first when their people learned that humans had been maintaining their quantum computers for 30 years. The crystal beings had believed their own propaganda about their superior technology. Now they discovered they were completely dependent on human expertise. "We are not the masters of quantum mechanics," admitted their former prime crystal. "Humans understand our own technology better than we do. They were too polite to correct our mistakes. Now we pay the price for our arrogance." The Draconian Empire faced massive rebellions as their military discovered that human engineers had been secretly upgrading their weapons systems. The proud warrior race learned that their mighty fleet was actually built on human innovations. "Our plasma cannon design is 50 years old," reported General Crix to his shocked commanders. "The humans have been quietly improving them every year. We took credit for their work and called them primitive." Dr. Haijin released her own research showing how human quantum theory had revolutionized alien technology. The Korean physicist had been sharing her discoveries with alien scientists who then claimed the credit for themselves. "They published papers using my equations," she said during a press conference. "They won awards for my inventions. They built their reputations on my research." Then they told the galaxy that human science was backward and crude. The Tentacled Merchants Guild collapsed when their customers learned that humans had been the ones actually managing their supply chains. The merchants had been taking huge profits while human logistics experts did all the real work for minimal pay. The Waterworld Aquarior faced revolution when their population discovered that humans had been designing their water purification systems. The alien government had been selling pure water at high prices while paying humans almost nothing for the technology that made it possible. Governor Minwoo watched the alien government scramble to contain the public relations disaster. "They built their entire civilizations on human labor and innovation," he said. "Then they convinced themselves that they were superior to us." The most shocking revelation came from the Galactic Historical Archives. Human researchers had prevented 14 different galactic wars through secret diplomatic missions. Their governments had taken credit for the peace treaties while hiding the human role. Ambassador Daeho had been one of those secret diplomats. He had spent years traveling to hostile worlds and negotiating ceasefires between alien species. The galactic public had never known about his work. "Until now, I stopped 3 wars between the Draconians and Zephyrians," he revealed in an interview. "I prevented the Crystalline Collective from destroying the hive mind worlds. I negotiated the peace treaty that ended the trade war of 2387. But my name never appeared on any official documents." The psychological impact on alien populations was devastating. Species that had considered themselves the rulers of the galaxy now faced the humbling truth that they had been completely dependent on the species they had looked down upon. Suicide rates among alien leaders skyrocketed as they realized their entire careers had been built on lies. Social order collapsed on hundreds of worlds as populations demanded answers from their governments. The gaseous cloud beings admitted that humans had been maintaining their atmospheric processors for 40 years without recognition. The energy beings confessed that human electrical engineers had designed their entire power grid. "We do not understand electricity as well as humans do," admitted the chief energy being. "We are made of electricity, but humans know how to control it better than we do." Some alien species tried to claim that they had been planning to give humans more recognition eventually, but the evidence showed they had been actively suppressing human achievements and taking credit for human work. The Galactic University system faced complete reorganization when investigations revealed that human Professors had been doing most of the actual research while alien professors took credit for their discoveries. Dr. Young Mi had been the real author of 12 major scientific papers that had won alien researchers the highest awards in their fields. They changed a few words and put their names on my work. She said then they told their students that humans were too stupid to understand advanced science. The scope of human contributions staggered even. Human leaders Earth had been quietly subsidizing galactic civilization for decades. While receiving almost nothing in return, human taxpayers had funded research that benefited alien worlds. The alien populations began demanding individual peace treaties with humanity. Their governments had lost all credibility. The galaxy wanted to deal directly with the people who had actually been keeping their civilizations. Running President Kyung-ho received over 500 formal requests for separate negotiations from alien groups. Each one offered increasingly desperate terms for human assistance. The proud species that had once demanded tribute from humans now begged for their help. They are offering us entire star systems now, reported his aide. Some are willing to become human colonies in exchange for technical support, the Korean president smiled. Of course they are. Without human help, those star systems are just empty rocks floating in space. They finally understand what we have always known. Humans do not just survive, we make everything around us better. The truth had set the galaxy free from the lie that aliens were superior to humans. Now everyone knew that humans were the foundation that held galactic civilization together. The only question was whether humans would choose to help rebuild what the aliens had destroyed through their arrogance. 6 months after the Great Withdrawal, galactic civilization teetered on the edge of complete collapse. The mighty alien empires that had ruled space for thousands of years now faced extinction without human support. Their technology failed, their economies crashed, and their people suffered. The Galactic Council itself faced dissolution as member civilizations abandoned the alliance to seek separate deals with humanity. The great organization that had governed the galaxy for 2 millennia crumbled in just half a year of human absence. Chancellor Dongwu of the Human Colonial Authority received over 300 formal requests for individual negotiations from desperate alien governments. The experienced Korean diplomat had served in alien courts for 20 years, always treated as a lesser being despite his obvious competence and intelligence. They are offering us entire star systems now, his aide reported while sorting through the latest batch of surrendered documents. The Andromedans want to give us their 3 best worlds in exchange for just basic technical support. Dongwu studied the offers with calm satisfaction. Of course they are without humans. Those worlds are worthless rocks with no infrastructure, no working technology, and no hope of survival. The mighty Zephyrian Empire had fragmented completely as different regions blamed each other for the human crisis. Their advanced energy weapons had become useless chunks of metal without human-designed power cores. Their proud fleets drifted helplessly through space as life support systems failed one by one. Armed Chancellor Blueskin had been found dead in his office, apparently from stress-related heart failure. His final message begged humans to return and save his people from extinction. The species that had ruled the council for centuries now faced complete annihilation. The Draconian military attempted one last desperate gambit. They tried to attack a human colony, hoping to capture human engineers and force them to repair their weapons. The mission failed catastrophically when their ships broke down in hyperspace. General Crix died when his flagship exploded during the failed attack. The ship computer systems had been maintained by human technicians for so long that they could not function without constant human oversight. The Draconians learned too late that they had been dependent on human expertise for everything. Engineer Nara worked 18 hours a day in her research facility, developing new technologies that would make humans completely independent of alien resources. The young Korean inventor had always dreamed of human technological supremacy. Now she was making that dream reality. We do not need their rare minerals anymore, she announced during a press conference. Human innovation has found better alternatives for everything they thought made them valuable to us. Her team had developed new manufacturing methods that could create any material from basic elements found on human worlds. Alien monopolies on exotic resources became worthless overnight when humans could make better versions in their own laboratories. The Psychological warfare was devastating alien populations that had been taught they were superior to humans now faced daily proof of their complete dependence on human capabilities. Mental health systems collapsed as entire species suffered collective identity crises. The crystalline collective had lost over 60% of their population to suicide and system failures. Their beautiful crystal cities stood empty and dark as quantum computers shut down one by one. The survivors lived in caves like primitive beings waiting to die. We were never advanced, admitted. The last functioning crystal elder humans built our technology for us. We just took credit for their work. Now we cannot even maintain the simplest systems without their help. The water-breathing Aquarians faced total ecological collapse as their atmospheric processors failed. Their ocean world was becoming toxic without human environmental engineers to maintain the delicate chemical balance that kept their ecosystem stable. Some alien leaders attempted military solutions threatening to attack human colonies unless humans resumed their services. These threats proved completely empty when their own military equipment began failing without human maintenance and support. Systems Admiral Jong-soo commanded the human defensive fleets that protected Earth and the colonies. The experienced Korean officer watched alien attack fleets break down in space before they could even reach human territory. They cannot fight wars with broken weapons, he reported to Earth Command. Their ships are falling apart. Their weapons do not work. Their soldiers are dying from life support failures. The Tentacled Merchants Guild tried hiring mercenaries to attack human shipping, but the mercenaries refused when they realized their own equipment needed human technicians to function properly. The guild collapsed when their trade networks completely failed. The hive mind species attempted to reverse engineer human technology, but their collective thinking could not understand human individual creativity. Human innovations required intuitive leaps that the logical insect minds could not comprehend. Queen Drone ordered her scientists to copy human designs, but every attempt failed. The human technology worked on principles that violated everything the hive mind thought they knew about physics, engineering, and computer science. The energy beings who existed as pure electricity discovered that their power distribution networks were shutting down without human electrical engineers. The beings made of living energy could not control their own electrical systems as well as humans could. Humans understand electricity better than we do, admitted the chief energy being. We are electricity, but they know how to shape it and direct it in ways we never imagined. The gaseous cloud beings watched their nebula homes become uninhabitable as atmospheric processors failed. The beings made of living gas could not maintain the chemical mixtures they needed to survive without human atmospheric specialists. Dr. Young Mi established monitoring stations throughout human space to study the collapse of alien civilizations. The Korean xenobiologists wanted to document exactly how the galaxy fell apart without human support. It is happening faster than I predicted, she wrote in her research notes. Alien civilizations are more fragile than anyone realized. They built their entire societies on human labor and innovation. When we withdrew, their foundations crumbled immediately. The speed of the collapse shocked even human leaders. Earth had expected some disruption, but the complete breakdown of galactic civilization happened much faster than anyone thought possible. Alien populations began fleeing their failing worlds in whatever ships still functioned. Millions of refugees sought shelter in human space, but the humans turned them away. The galaxy that had rejected humanity now faced rejection in return. They made their choice. President Kyung-ho declared, they chose to treat U.S. as inferiors. Now they can live with the consequences of that choice. The few alien governments that still functioned began offering unconditional surrender. They promised to accept any human demands in exchange for basic technical support to prevent total extinction. Chancellor Dong-woo reviewed the surrender offers with his diplomatic team. They want us to save them from the mess they created, he said. The same people who called us primitive now beg us to solve problems their superior technology cannot handle. The reckoning had arrived. The galaxy learned that true power came not from military might or political control, but from competence, innovation, and the ability to make things work. Humans had quietly become the masters of the galaxy through their skills and dedication. The aliens had ruled through fear and intimidation, but humans had led through excellence and reliability. When the test came, fear could not fix broken machines or cure diseases or transport food to hungry worlds. Only human competence could do that. As the 6th month ended, it became clear that humanity held the future of galactic civilization in their hands. The proud alien species that had once looked down on humans now faced a simple choice: accept human leadership or face extinction in the darkness they had created. 1 year after the Great Withdrawal, humanity emerged as the undisputed power in the galaxy. The transformation was complete. Alien civilizations that had once treated humans as servants now begged for the privilege of serving as junior partners in human-led enterprises. The Galactic Council building stood empty and abandoned on the neutral world of Diplomacy Prime. Weeds grew through cracks in the crystal dome that had once housed the proud representatives of 1,000 species. The Great Alliance that had ruled space for 2 millennia had died not from war but from the simple absence of human competence. Ambassador Jae-sung stood before what remained of the galactic leadership in a much smaller chamber on Earth. Only 37 species had survived the collapse with functioning governments. The confident Korean diplomat held the future of these civilizations in his hands. Humanity will consider resuming limited cooperation under new conditions, he announced to the desperate alien representatives. Full equality in all decisions, fair compensation for all services, complete respect for human sovereignty, and total access to all alien technologies and resources. The alien representatives had no choice but to accept every alternative led to extinction. Their proud civilizations had been reduced to begging for human mercy. The species that had once demanded tribute from humans now offered everything they had. The Zephyrian survivors, led by a young chancellor with only 2 arms instead of the traditional 4, agreed to become a human protectorate. Their advanced energy manipulation technology would be shared freely with human scientists in exchange for basic life support. Remnants of the Draconian Empire offered their entire military knowledge to human strategists. Their warrior culture would serve human interests in exchange for working weapons and functioning ships. The proud reptilian race accepted human command without question. Captain Wu Jin commanded the largest fleet in galactic history as human ships returned to the space lanes. But now they flew as protectors and leaders rather than hired servants. The veteran Korean spacer had dreamed of this day since his first encounter with alien arrogance. Decades ago. It feels strange, he told his crew as they watched alien vessels respectfully move aside for their passage. They always had the power to treat us as equals. They chose not to. Now they have no choice at all. The new galactic order reflected human values of fairness, innovation, and cooperative problem-solving. Alien species that adapted to human leadership found their civilizations slowly rebuilding. Those that resisted found themselves isolated on the edges of civilized space. The crystalline collective survivors agreed to share all their quantum computing knowledge with human researchers in exchange for human scientists, teaching them how their own technology actually worked. The crystal beings accepted their role as students, learning from their former servants. Dr. Hai-jin established joint research facilities where human and alien scientists worked together on an equal basis. But the humans led every project because they understood the fundamental principles that alien scientists had missed. They memorized formulas without understanding the physics behind them. She explained to her mixed species research team, now they must learn to think like humans if they want to make real discoveries. The Tentacled Merchants Guild survivors became part of human trading companies. They provided local knowledge and contacts while human managers handled the actual business operations. The former merchant princes accepted junior positions in human corporations. The Waterworld Aquarior became a human colony in all but named Governor Minwoo now answered to the human colonial authority, but his world prospered under human guidance. The pure water trade expanded to serve human worlds first, with alien customers receiving whatever remained. The hive mind species split into smaller, independent groups after accepting that their collective thinking could not match human individual creativity. Some groups succeeded by learning human methods while others faded away, unable to adapt. The energy beings agreed to let human electrical engineers redesign their entire power distribution network. The beings made of living electricity finally admitted that humans understood their fundamental nature better than they understood themselves. Gaseous cloud beings accepted human environmental management of their nebula homes. Human atmospheric specialists created stable gas mixtures that supported larger populations than ever before. The cloud beings served as scouts and explorers for human expansion. Dr. Young Mi established the first interspecies university on Mars where alien students came to learn human methods of science, engineering, and problem-solving. The renowned Korean educator watched with satisfaction as former alien superiors struggled to master concepts that human children learned easily. The universe is vast and full of wonders, she told her first class of alien graduate students. But the greatest wonder is the human spirit, our refusal to accept limitations, our drive to improve and excel, our determination to treat all beings with dignity when they earn that treatment. Her students included former government leaders, scientists, and military officers from dozens of species. They attended lectures on human innovation methods, creative problem-solving, and ethical leadership. Many failed the courses because alien minds struggled with human ways of thinking. The new galactic economy centered on human worlds with alien colonies providing raw materials and specialized services. Human corporations employed millions of alien workers who were grateful for steady employment after their own economic systems collapsed. President Kyung-ho presided over the greatest expansion in human history. Dozens of new colonies were established using the best worlds that alien governments had surrendered. Human population grew rapidly as families moved to claim their inheritance among the stars. We did not conquer the galaxy through force, he said during his final State of the Union address. We simply withdrew our gifts and let the universe see what it lost. In doing so, we proved that true strength comes from earning respect rather than demanding it. The transformation extended beyond politics and economics. Human culture began spreading across the galaxy as alien populations adopted human entertainment, literature, and art forms. Human languages became the standard for interstellar communication. The few remaining alien governments competed to offer the most attractive terms for human investment and guidance. They reformed their legal systems to match human standards of justice. They adopted human educational methods. They restructured their societies around human values. Captain So Young now commanded the Galactic Defense Force that protected all member worlds under human leadership. The former Korean military officer who had once stood behind Ambassador Dae-ho in the council chamber now held responsibility for galactic security. Peace through strength became the motto of her integrated fleet, where alien crews served under human officers. The galaxy had never been more peaceful because everyone understood that humans would enforce justice fairly but firmly. The panic that had erupted when humans refused to negotiate had transformed into something far more profound, a galaxy-wide recognition that humanity deserved not just a seat at the table, but the right to design the table itself. Trade flourished under human management. Scientific research accelerated with human leadership. Cultural exchange enriched all species under human guidance. The galaxy prospered as never before because humans combined competence with fairness. The species that had once called humans primitive now sent their children to study in human schools. The governments that had once demanded human obedience now sought human approval for their policies. The civilizations that had once exploited human labor now competed to serve human interests. The great reversal was complete. The servants had become the masters not through conquest but through demonstrated superiority in every field that mattered. The galaxy had learned that respect must be earned, and humans had earned the right to lead. As the first anniversary of withdrawal past humanity stood as the undisputed foundation of galactic civilization, the age of alien dominance was over. The age of human leadership had begun, and the galaxy was better for it because humans had always understood that true power serves others rather than exploiting them. The universe stretched out before humanity, filled with infinite possibilities. Humans had proven they could survive without the galaxy. Now they would show the galaxy how much better life could be with human guidance, leadership, and vision. The stars belonged to humanity, now not through conquest, but through competence. Not through fear, but through respect. Not through force, but through the simple recognition that humans made everything they touched better, stronger, and more hopeful for.